I get super excited when real estate investors come to me and they have a property in Naperville. Naperville is one of the top cities in the state, in the country to live in, which makes finding an awesome tenant for your place in Naperville that much easier and makes the investment for you that much more gratifying. So just a few things I do want to go over though for Naperville. So Naperville, one of the benefits there is there's not a rental license requirement, so that's very nice. There's not a rental license inspection. That takes a lot of, neighboring Aurora or some of the other towns around do have those requirements. And it's not saying it's the end of the world, but it's just one more step you have to do as far as being an investor there. So Naperville does have a human rights and fair housing ordinance. Naperville is one of the first people to pioneer the source of income as being part of the Fair Housing Act for Naperville. Now it's all statewide as of January 1st, 2023, but they're one of the first people to pioneer for that. So, they do have their own fair housing. They do have a place you can report things there. Not saying that anyone's going to get into those issues, but they're a little more sophisticated than some of the other surrounding smaller cities. And most of it, like I said, the other ones are smaller, and Naperville is really large, and they have the ability to have some of these resources within their city. Before going further, one thing I want to make sure I point out, Naperville does not allow short-term rentals. So if you have a short-term rental, you're looking to do Airbnb or you're looking to VRBO, they will not allow that. And there's big fines if you do it. I think it ends up being, if you start doing it and they see it, it's like $500 or $1,000 a day. So it's kind of crazy. So make sure, there's some people that are grandfathered in from years ago when that was passed. I think it was passed in 2021. So make sure you look at it. If you've already been doing it or there's a way you could grandfather, maybe there is. But if you've never done it before and you're trying to get into it now, you're not allowed to do it here. So the other thing, Naperville Electric. So this is a big one that landlords in other towns, if you're in West Chicago or if you're in Wheaton or if you're in Glen Ellen, your tenant moves into your house, they put ComEd into their name, their electric, they pay it. If they don't pay it, that's their problem. It follows along on their social security number. But in Naperville, since it's Naperville Electric, the tenant doesn't pay the electric bill, then it falls back on you as the owner. Similar to water in most cities. But in Naperville, you just have to be cautious with that. And it's not, we talked earlier in this video that you're going to have a higher caliber resident typically in Naperville just because it's so sought after. But if you have a tenant that moves out and maybe they skip that last electric bill. So we always encourage, and part of our process too is we make sure that the tenant has paid the water and electric bill in Naperville to make sure that there's not a cost that comes up 6 weeks later after you've already returned the security deposit that now either A, you have to eat or you have to chase the tenant for, which a lot of times you chase the tenant ended up eating that $30 or $40 extra money. So keep that in mind. The Naperville Electric is a little different than ComEd in the areas where the Naperville Electric bill will become your problem if the tenant doesn't pay. So Naperville does have a crime-free program. They do have a requirement as far as that, and some of the HOAs really push that, so you want to make sure you look into those requirements. And one other thing about Naperville is in 2 counties. So Naperville is in DuPage County and it's in Will County. So if laws change in Will County, then it's a little different than if it's changed in DuPage County. So you got to make sure you're watching that and you're staying on top of that depending where your county or which side of the county you fall in. And I believe the county break line is right around 95th Street. So that being said, one more thing I want to kind of hit on here is if you're in Section 8, there's a lot of Section 8 housing landlords out there, and that would be the only other difference if county-wise. So if you're in Cook County, if you're in DuPage County, you're going to follow the DHA, and if you're in Will County and you're part of the Section 8 program, you're going to follow the Will County Joliet program. So, Naperville's an awesome place to be being a landlord in, be renting from. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to us. If you'd like to learn more about property management, we'd love to help you, or our lease-only program where we will find you quality tenants and then you end up handling the day-to-day, but we also handle all of the day-to-day in our management program. So love to hear what you're working on, love to hear your journey, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.